has become difficult. And people have more and more difficulty to make any sense out of it. And now, of course, one could take the elements of his theory and then think about how is the present situation. Is it the same? Is it not the same? Well, to a large extent, I mean, I took a lot of these ideas from it. The philosophy comes up with this term cultural industry. Well, if you think of the overall internet culture we have today and the total accessibility of everybody at any given time through the same formats, this is an even stronger form of cultural industry than Adorno or Horkheimer observed in the 40s, 50s, 60s when they made their sociological studies. On one hand you can say, okay, we are beyond this, we know all this, we can handle it, or you can say it has become even stronger than they had it when they first came up with this term. Well, if it's like that, art still would have to be difficult in order to come up with anything that is different from this kind of standardized language we have 24 hours a day. And again, the material will show you. If you're sensitive for the material you work with, and if you know the history of your material, it will show you. It will show you this is conventional, this is shit, and this is new. And newness is a category for him. Nouveauté, suddenly you see, I have not seen this before. I have not heard this sound. I have not seen this kind of coloring or this kind of form. I have not seen these kind of images in this order. And this is striking. This is really new. I've never seen anything like that. And then you see, it will tell you. And so you have to come up, the question is, well, where are criteria outside of the market? And it must be in the material. If you want them, you can sell your stuff, and the market will take it or not. But that is not his question. The question is of authenticity, in the sense of how true is it? How true is the artwork to the experience it wants to express, it wants to talk about? Which is not my subjective feelings. It's the logic of the material and the reaction of the material to something before. This almost corporeal instance. And he needs corporeality. He needs to get out of subjective relativism. That's his fiercest enemy. He hates subjective relativism. So how do you fight it? So you have to claim there is something collective, material, a primacy of object. There is something outside of our mere subjective projection. And as physical beings, we are bodies. And you cannot do anything with your body you want. I mean, not yet. So, there is something it's carrying you, and it's there, and it's telling you this is good, this is bad. And you need this to come up with a collective idea, and the idea of a collective experience. Otherwise, you would be just lost as a subject, and this is your mere personal fantasies, which he doesn't think so.
Okay, yes.
I wanted to say thanks so much. I'm a first-year student here. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm glad to meet you, Dean. And
thank you.
This is less a question and more of a comment. Congratulations, of course. It's a pleasure to meet everybody. I was wandering today, actually, speaking of what do we do about the past, and how do we know what's novel and what's not outward. It may be new, but it's just outward, not necessarily what we want to pursue further. And I was taking a hike earlier today with some fellow students, and we were just wandering, didn't know where we were going, and it occurred to me that this is a really wonderful place because plenty of people have taken these paths before me, and I can trust in what they've done that in it behaving appropriate to this path, those after me can also follow. So thanks so much.
Yeah, well he talks about just one last answer or comment. He talks about the shapes of the mountains, and he refers to this region here because he spent his summer vacations here. And so one of these ideas of nature calling for a interference by humanity is that he says, well, there's an idea of nature in itself that this mountain is ugly and that one looks better. And he says, well, you can see that sort of in the shapes of the mountains. Sometimes they look okay and sometimes they don't. And there is a logic. He says there's a logic to this. That's not mere subjective projection. It's a wild idea, you know. But that's one of those ideas, you know, to get out of mere subjectivity. Well, maybe we all would love to have a drink or something. Thank you for your...